Hello and welcome you all. Today we have with us Sitaram Yechury, General Secretary of CPIM. Welcome you. My first question is that today we are with the people of our countries, they are all in a grim situation. The hunger index, the dollar price rise, all indicators show a bad spell. How do you see it? Whether do you make responsible anyone, the government? What is your apprehension?
You're right. The situation before the people in the country is very, very grim. Primary responsibility for this rests with the government and its policies. That is the Modi government at the center and their policies that they have been pursuing. Because just look at the situation. I mean, our unemployment is the highest ever recorded. In fact, this high unemployment is the highest for our youth, particularly in the age group between 20 and 29. This is the worst affected group where the unemployment has gone up beyond 40%. And this is the future of India, our demographic dividend. If you are unable to educate them, give them proper health, give them a job, India becoming a better country will not just happen. For that, the policies have to be generated whereby this government has to increase public investments, build our infrastructure, and that will generate jobs in lakhs. And these youth who are employed, when they start spending their salaries or wages, then the demand will revive in the economy. And all these MSMEs, etc., the small units that are closed today, they'll start reopening. So that is there, the answer is there if the policy is a pro-people policy that is adopted by the government. But this government's entire intention is to enrich the rich and crony capitalism that it's got. I mean, Prime Minister's favorite business corporate leaders and amassing their profits and their wealth, they are ruining the lives of the people. Hunger, global hunger index, it's now become a habit with the Modi government that they'll never accept any international index or a standard, saying that the whole world is wrong, only they are right. They've done this with the democracy index, they've done this with the hunger index, they've done this with every single health, human development indices. With every one of them, they totally discount. And they don't publish Indian data. The survey that was done a few years ago on the actual, what is called the large survey of the statistical organization, that does this the largest survey that shows the actual livelihood conditions of the people, health of the people. That survey findings have not been released, saying that there's some technical problem. Why? Because it has shown that there's a big deterioration in the living standards of our people. So the net result is that all these indicators that you're seeing, whether employment, poverty, hunger, all these indicators that are worsening today is a clear indication that the rule of the present government, the BJP government led by Modi, that has been a completely anti-people policies that they've been following, anti-people government, and this is worsening by the day. So government is squarely responsible for this situation. And if they don't want to accept international indices on their findings, what about your National Family Health Survey? Your national thing, and that has shown a huge jump in the malnutrition of our children. Child malnutrition is one of the worst, and that's what the Global Hunger Index also has said. So our own figures testify to this reality. So this is a government where there are alternative policies, direction that is available, but they are in the grip of what I would call a communal corporate nexus. And that is ruining our country and the livelihood of our people.
But government is not addressing the crisis, but they are imposing Hindi on all the states. What will be the result of it?
That is the whole strategy of this government. They do not address the actual live issues that people are facing and suffering from. They want to divert the attention of the people into emotive appeals, misusing religion through their communalism and their communal polarization efforts, or raking up issues like Hindi. Now, this raking up question of Hindi is a part of the overall ideological thrust of the RSS. The slogan was Hindi, Hindu, Hindustan. So the one country, one language, one culture. That is their entire ideological perception. So they do not accept the linguistic diversity in our country. This is completely unacceptable. All the 22 languages listed in the Constitution schedule must be treated equally on par. They are all your official languages that the Constitution of India recognizes. So you cannot discriminate between any of them. And education in mother tongue is something that we have always maintained is the most scientific, it's not only we, the whole world accepts, is the most scientific form of making a child learn through the mother tongue. You diversify languages subsequently, but initially you do that. So how can you say that only Hindi will be the medium of instruction? That is not acceptable, and it won't be acceptable in India. We have seen it happen even in much milder form. Even when the three-language formula was imposed by Nehru, you saw the language riots that took place particularly in South India. And this is not something that the Indians will accept.
Another social issues that is related to hijab, the Supreme Court recently they are divided, their bench is divided on this issue, on the issue of hijab. Do you think that it will encourage the communal propaganda and the communal hatred? It will be used for that?
You see, fundamentally we believe it's the right of the individual to decide. And as one of the two judges commented upon it, you cannot use this as a pretext to deny the girl child education. When Prime Minister's own slogan is to educate the girl children, how can this be accepted, saying that this will become a reason for denying them education? No, it is, whether it's a religious matter or not religious matter, let the court rule, they'll go to a larger bench. But the question is not that. It's the right of individual's right of preference of what to wear. In Britain, you have police uniforms for women policemen with the hijab included. They have, in many countries, all over the world, in many countries, Sikhs who have migrated to, whether it's to Canada or to UK or to the USA or to the other places, they are not required to wear their, France tried to ban the, their turban. But then that also couldn't really succeed in doing that. And even in our country, on a motorcycle, Sikhs it's not against the law for them to not wear the helmet. If you and me travel on a motorcycle without a helmet, we can be arrested. But for them, no. You have that thing. And in every tradition in India, in Hindu communities, you have their own turban. Pagdi Sambhalu Jata was a famous slogan raised by the freedom movement. In fact, by Bhagat Singh and all, at that time, it was to save the pride of the Pagdi. It was something that is emotionally connected with large number of Indians which have different types of Pagdis. And they take pride in their distinct headwear, each one of them. So, I don't know what the Supreme Court will eventually decide, but I think this is the individual preference of individuals. But in any case, the girl child cannot be denied education.
The Supreme Court is still sitting on another issue. The issue is still pending regarding the corporate electoral bond. Probably it was the appeal from your side. Whereas Election Commission is trying to prevent these pre-election promises, trying to amend the MCC, Model Code of Conduct. How do you see it?
Well, first of all, the Election Commission, according to us, has no business to tell a party what sort of policies it will follow, or to seek an explanation from that party that if you are saying this, how will you implement it? That is for the people to judge. The Election Commission, according to the Indian Constitution, is mandated to conduct a free and fair election, providing an equal ground to all contestants, level playing field to everybody. That is their constitutional mandate. They should stick to that, number one. Number two, this entire question of freebies. What for instance, the Election Commission did not announce the dates for the Gujarat elections. That is permitting the Prime Minister to go there almost every week to make new announcements, and he's talking in terms of gifts to the people. That is people's money. He is abusing people's money from the Indian Consolidated Fund of India, which is paid by the people. I mean, everybody in India pays taxes, because anything you buy, there's a tax in it. So everybody pays taxes. Is that money that is being given by the Prime Minister as though it's a personal gift? That is not a freebie. But what you announce, saying that we'll give, which is absolutely necessary. I mean, I would like to give free food, free health, and free education to all the people. No, that is something I will strive for. I'll raise the resources, but then the EC has got no business to come into this arena. It's between the political parties and the people.
Do you think that Modi government, all this situation what describes, do you think that Modi government is inching towards fascism or a kind of neo-fascism that we see in other countries?
Well, what I would say is Modi government, first of all, the BJP, we must understand, is the political arm of the RSS. When the BJP is in government, it uses the entire government and entire control over state institutions to further the agenda of Hindutva communalism, of the fascistic RSS, that the destruction of a secular democratic republic as defined by the Indian Constitution, and in its place setting up a rabidly intolerant fascistic Hindutva Rashtra is what they want. So that is the concept itself is fascistic. And increasingly they are utilizing and using fascistic methods to achieve that. The spread of hate, the spread of violence, the creation of, after all, the Nazi attack on the Jews did not begin in one single day. It was preceded by months and years of falsification, of propaganda against the Jews, of targeting them, and then enacting laws like they are doing on love jihad or cow protection or whatever they are, in order to isolate and target the minorities, the Muslims here. So this is the method that Hitler also employed before it came down to the genocide, to the Holocaust, as they call it. Before all this happened, this were the campaigns that were going on. And we are traversing the same path, so that's very, very dangerous.
If such is the threat, then how do you view the opposition unity to resist it?
Well, that's why, you see, this threat has to be met, according to us, in a four-pronged manner. One is that the left, as the most consistent, or particularly the CPIM, as the most consistent defender of secularism and people's rights, that is the secular democratic foundations of India. To defend that is essential for the CPIM and the left to advance our revolutionary cause. So strengthening the left is most important, and the unity of the left parties in struggles. And on that basis to widen it to include all the democratic forces, the left and democratic front, and then to work for the broadest mobilization of anti-Hindutva communal forces in the country who can genuinely take on the challenge. In Bengal, that would mean the maximization of anti-BJP, anti-TMC votes in order to defeat the BJP. That unity will have to be forged at every state level, because in every state the actual ground realities are different. In many states there are different parties that have a major influence over the people, and they have people's support. There are regional parties in most of the South Indian states. And you have now in Odisha, in the various other places, you'll have regional parties who are not really anti-BJP, but many are very firmly anti-BJP, like the RJD in Bihar, the Samajwadi Party in UP. Now these are the forces which will have to, at every state level, take the lead, like the situation emerged in Tamil Nadu, where the leading secular force, which was anti-BJP, that is the DMK, and we all also helped in forming that sort of a front there, and you saw the result. The BJP is completely and thoroughly isolated. Or you see where the left is very strong, like in Kerala, where the BJP has not won a single assembly seat. They had one earlier, even that is gone. So where the left is strong and where this unity of the left and democratic secular forces is there, then it's possible state-wise. What will emerge in the all India level is something that will be preceded by the state level arrangements. It cannot happen from the top. Look at our own history, our own experience. In '96, when the BJP emerged as the single largest party, when the President of India then invited, as the leader of the single largest party, 𝒂𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒏𝒆, to form the government. At that time, we said that this is something, there will be disasters for the country, this has to be stopped. And the United Front was formed after the election. Before the election, all the United Front parties had understandings at the state levels. But United Front was formed at the national level after the election. And the Vajpayee government was defeated on the floor of the House after 13 days. And the United Front government came with 𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒏 as the thing. In '98, when Vajpayee again got the single largest majority, but not a majority, the NDA was formed after the election. In 2004, the UPA was formed post-election. But at the state level, there were understanding between these parties before the elections. So at the state level, ensure such an understanding comes about, and that maximizes anti-BJP seats, winning them. And then the alternative government will come at the center. And that's perfectly possible, and that is the direction in which we are moving now.
So in this opposition unity, how do you see the Trinamool Congress of West Bengal?
That they have to answer. That the people of Bengal, I think, have already realized that the Trinamool Congress is no genuine, real alternative to the BJP. What we have been saying, or the CPIM has been saying all along, that the BJP is in Bengal because of the Trinamool Congress. And they are trying to now, and the misgovernance of the TMC, its anti-democratic character, and its mega corruption. These are three issues which have actually misled the people of Bengal and looted the people of Bengal. I mean, in these years of Trinamool government. So the question of Trinamool being an alternative to the BJP is of no. I mean, now you're seeing all sorts of statements coming from your Chief Minister, trying to find good people in the RSS and trying to locate it. So that's up to them. I mean, the Trinamool Congress was part of the NDA earlier also. Your Chief Minister was also a cabinet minister under Vajpayee. Even after Gujarat happened, she returned back to the Vajpayee government. After all that communal carnage in Gujarat. So those credentials are there before the people. So in Bengal, if BJP has to be stopped, not merely in Bengal, but also in the country, then it will have to be, by the slogan, as I said, the maximization of the anti-BJP, anti-TMC votes. That will have to be maximized, and that is how Bengal will contribute to a national change.
You are continuously alleging that there is a misuse of central agencies the BJP government is doing. The Mamata Banerjee, Trinamool Congress is also trying to say that they are victim of these misuse of the central agencies, particularly the CBI and ED. Do you think it is logical and justified?
Just now I was watching on the television some thousands and thousands of teachers who had qualified 8 years ago saying that you are not appointed us. And people who have not even given the examination or given an application, they are being appointed. So how can this be a misuse of anything? This is a blatant, open corruption. And this is something we have been saying from the time when it first surfaced, all these scams. And particularly the Narada, Sharda, those scams, the chit fund scams. CPIM was one of the first parties to say that the huge big scam here, it has to be investigated. It went up to all the financial regulatory authorities also. But then, that is when it was mysteriously not proceeded. Now, the Modi government will also have to answer for the last 8 years, why are they not proceeding on these cases, where corruption is so brazenly visible. So, where corruption is not there, you create a new case, etc. That's how the ED and CBI are misused. How are they misused? 𝒃𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒓𝒅, the journalist, Supreme Court gives him a bail. And then immediately UP government, in yet another case, is rearrested. So, that is the misuse that happens. When you do not have anything, I'm 100% convinced that all those now arrested under UAPA, like the Bhima Koregaon case people, like our Professor Sai Baba, these people, on all these people, that UAPA charges will not hold the test of conviction in the courts. But by then, many years would have passed, and that is the punishment they are giving. They are already punishing a person before establishing the charge and proving that they are guilty. That is the misuse, how these things are being misused. Not catching actually corrupt people. And in fact, the misuse is also the other side of actually exonerating corrupt people. You don't pursue the corrupt, but you pursue political opponents. So from both sides, there is a misuse. This agency's job is to persecute and prosecute the corrupt. They are let free, and the political opponents are targeted, and then they are persecuted in order to gain. That is how BJP today, it loses elections but forms the government. How in a democracy? If people have rejected you, but you're still in government, they've done this in Goa, they've done this in Karnataka, they've done this in Madhya Pradesh, they've tried it in Rajasthan, and this is how they want to try, and they've done it in Maharashtra, So this is the misuse of these central agencies, not actually going after corrupt people.
My last question is on another political opposition, that is Congress. How do you see their effort, particularly their recent initiative, the Bharat Jodo Jatha? How do you see?
Well, you see, every political party has the democratic right to go to the people with certain issues and mobilize them. We do it all the time. This entire the historic Kisan struggle, or the trade union actions, or the strikes that are against privatization that plague, all these are our methods of reaching out to the people, mobilizing them. So Congress is also doing its own effort, like many other parties will also be doing, going to the people. So that is their democratic right, they are exercising that. Now what will emerge from that we'll have to wait and see. But right now, in the south, it is getting a response, that yatra. We'll have to wait and see as it crosses the Vindhyas. In the north, where BJP is concentrating with the spread of venomous, poisonous hatred and communal polarization, there how people will respond. But it's an effort that the Congress is making to go to the people, which is good.
Okay. Thank you for giving us such